Okay, how you doing? 1 second. See, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I never know. Hang on. Okay. I think Teresa, you're still trying to connect, I think. You're only waiting for 2 people actually, because people are needing to go to the evening class lately. So we're going to be like nice and cozy. 4 people here. So we're waiting for another 2. And I think Teresa is still connecting. Ah, there you go. I think Teresa, your audio is kind of like thinking. Can you talk?
I think your microphone is off.
Yes, you need to mute. You need to unmute yourself. I'm just gonna stop recording. Start recording. Cool. Okay. So hope everybody's okay, and welcome to week 3. So if you remember, we talk about treating yourself like a vulnerable child and rewriting your self-narrative with compassion, gratitude, and factual language. So if anybody would like to share any thoughts, anything that happened last week with these 2 homework, with these 2 exercises. Feeling shy? It's no need. You can put it on the chat. Yeah, Zelda.
For me, because I already mentioned before, I had this person always talking, etc., etc. But literally after our meeting, I was being more firm about I'm the child. I want love. I want to be nice to myself, and I'm not gonna listen to it. And I'm gonna do something else than what is good for me, and to deal with stress or something like that. And I'm not gonna feel guilty about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a way of changing the way I look at myself, or how I was planning my day, and it did really good. So
okay, so that sounds like it was a positive thing for you.
Yes, for me, yes.
Good. Anybody else want to share? Anybody did anything with a self-narrative, writing with gratitude, or factual language? Did you need any help on that? If you want to put anything on the chat as well, if you don't fancy talking too early in the morning or too challenging, just put it on the chat and then we can write it later. It's just by sharing, it's really, really helpful for the rest of the group. Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey.
Hi. Pilar, I would like to share something with regards to the homework.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did try to rewrite my self-narrative, and the thing I found out, which was I don't know, probably I didn't do well, I don't know, but it was very difficult for me to find a balance between talking to myself, or correcting the self-narrative with compassion, or gratitude, and just it was kind of a certain point where I felt like I'm just kind of putting up excuses.
Yeah. Okay, that is actually
my challenge.
Yeah, it is. It's perfectly normal when you're not used to doing it, and you're introduced to new tools and things that you haven't maybe you have done it, but you never realized that you were doing it. And one of the easiest ways to actually to get used to talk to yourself with self-compassion is you imagine you're talking to someone else. Imagine you're talking to your best friend with the same problem. And then what would you say to that person? And then that way you start talking to yourself in the same way. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that, like, if you could just imagine that you're talking to your best friend and she has that kind of problem, like she's saying, I'm too shy and I can't make new friends, and I'm really struggling, I'm having a really bad time, and I'm too lonely. What would you say to her? Like, like you wouldn't crush her, right? You would just try to encourage and talk to self-compassion. Don't beat yourself up. You need to make the effort. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. So that's the same way that you need to talk to yourself. Just imagine you're talking to your best friend. And then little by little, just change. Instead of saying you say I. Okay? Good. Anybody else? Okay. So let's start with today. So first we're going to be talking, today's going to be very much into a lot of educational, because we need to, I wanted to talk to you about anxiety and stress response. And actually that is in order to really understand what is happening in your body and to really understand and normalize it, we need to know about our brain and about our nervous system. Okay, so it can be a bit of long educational piece, but please interrupt me anytime if you want any comments, or if it's anything doesn't mean anything to you, or it doesn't resonate with you, or anything. Okay, so I just don't want to be ranting. Just stop me anytime, because otherwise I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. But anyway, basically it's normal to feel anxiety, okay? And the symptoms are just natural body responses. So a few people who joined the course told me that anxiety was the thing that happened to them very often. I do have a lot of anxiety very often. So I'm going to explain you the anxiety response from the basics, which is our brain, okay? So anxiety is a physiological and biological response to threat. But a threat can be real or unreal. Your brain doesn't really know the difference, okay? I'm just gonna unmute. I think you need to unmute yourself, Zelda. There you go, thank you. Okay, so you might have heard of flight, fight, or freeze. Rings the bell to anybody? No? Okay. This is your natural body response to threat, okay? Think about when we were living in caves. So we have to, let me just unmute. Zelda, I think you need to unmute yourself. I can't do it from here, fortunately. There you go, thank you. Yeah, so think about when we were living in caves. We had to be alert all the time for big animals, okay? And maybe other rival tribes or scary daily life things. So when we hear or sense or see a massive caged tiger, for example, our brain and body get ready for action, okay? To either fight the beast, so body to body, to flight or to run away from the beast, or freezing. You just get frozen, hoping that he didn't see us. So we still have those responses these days. And it's just our body natural reaction to try to help us to survive. But the reality is we don't have any massive cave tigers running around all the time, okay? But we have other threats in life, like, let's say, speaking in public, or maybe being in a crowded space that it really makes you feel anxious, or work deadlines, or maybe a job interview that you feel very conscious about it, meeting new people, giving a speech, or present your product, flying in a plane, afraid of losing your job, afraid of losing your partner, okay? These are like our modern day cave tigers. And let's try to understand what's going on in our brain. So we have a section in our brain called the amygdala. Okay, the amygdala is like an almond shaped piece and it's around here. And one of the main jobs is to scan our environment for threats. So remember, the brain wants to keep us safe. We were talking about this in the last 2 sessions. Our brain wants to keep us safe. And if the amygdala perceives there is a danger in our environment, whether it's real or not, what she does, it sends an instant signal down our brain stem to our adrenals, which is actually very near our kidneys. And what happened there? It makes instantly increase our heart rate and our breathing. Okay, it goes really, really fast. That is basically our adrenals releasing stress hormones in our system. Okay, the cortisol, the adrenaline, and the noradrenaline. And that is instant. Okay, that's why when you get in panic, it can actually feel extremely overwhelming in your heart, in your entire body. And it could make you think that something is wrong with me. Okay, something is wrong with my health. I'm very sick. I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm going to die. But these symptoms are very, very natural. And it's just a safety system. Your body is simply redirecting your blood flow what is needed the most. So basically, if your heart goes faster, like you say, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack, I'm feeling really bad. Basically, your body is ready to run. You know, you have the cave tiger in front of you, and you start pumping blood really fast because you're going to start to run. Or you might feel nauseous because your body is saying, okay, where do I need my energy right now? If I'm under a threat, do I need it here in my belly to digest the food? Or do I send the energy in my legs so I can actually run away really, really fast? So basically, my body is shutting down all the non-essential functions. So I might throw up because my energy is not in my belly and it's full of food. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay, good. So basically, the most important thing is to understand that these responses are very normal and your body is responding exactly the way it should do it, okay? Another symptoms is the tunnel vision, you know, and this is just because you need to focus on the threat to escape easier. So it's hard for you to think clearly if you're looking into something else, okay? So if you're running away from a dangerous tiger, you need the tunnel vision to see the way that you're going to be running onto. But if it's not a tiger, you actually feel very uncomfortable because you don't have clarity in other areas, okay? That's the tunnel vision. And this is what happens these days. You think that something is wrong with your vision? It's not. It's just your body trying to keep you safe. You breathe faster. Why? Because you increase the amount of oxygen to run faster. And at the same time, with all those responses, with the amygdala, that almond shape in here, is sending a second signal to our prefrontal cortex, okay? And this is a signal that travels half a second slower than the first one. So we can call it the slow track. And basically, the prefrontal cortex is like your CEO of our brain. It's where we process information, we process language, problem solving, logic, everything, okay? This is your CEO. And then your CEO starts thinking, okay, if is this a threat, what do we do next? Okay, so if he realizes that it's not a threat, he will send a message back to the rest of the brain and say, okay, calm down, it's not a threat. But if he thinks it's a threat, he's going to encourage the physical response, okay? And remember, our brain does not distinguish between real or unreal. So he might be considering something non-threatening, like a crowded restaurant, that is a real threat for you. That's why some people get anxious and with panic attack when in a crowded space, because your brain is saying, this is not good for your survival. So basically the main piece to understand here is our stress and anxiety responses are these two main signals, okay? The slow one and the fast one. So let's put example. Imagine you are driving on a highway and you get an intrusive negative thought in your mind, okay? suddenly you think, I'm going to have a car accident. And that is very normal. You know, like when you're actually doing something and a very negative thought comes into your mind and shit, what am I thinking? So the first thing that happened to you, the fast track, you have this whoosh of nervous, the fear that can be maybe just a pain in your stomach. And that is instant, okay? That is your adrenals releasing stress hormones right away. But just by thinking for it, okay, you're already feeling something. That is inevitable and is caused just by the thought of, I'm going to have a car accident. And the second is low track signal that goes to our prefrontal cortex. Two things can happen. The brain can think, okay, it's just a stupid thought. No worries. Nothing is going to happen. I'm safe. Stop all responses. So he sends a signal back to the amygdala asking to stop releasing stress hormones. And the amygdala said, okay, turn it off everything. We're okay. And then you just feel okay in a few minutes, okay? You already have the whoosh, but that is inevitable because that's a fast track response. But if your brain, if your prefrontal cortex says, okay, this is a real danger, actually, then start your inner critic and your panic thoughts, okay? What's wrong with me? Why am I always thinking the worst? Why am I always thinking weird things? I'm a monster, I'm a weirdo. There is something wrong with my body and with my brain. I'm going crazy. I'm going to have a panic attack. Basically, the amygdala has received the order to stay active. So you keep having all these horrible thoughts and responses, okay? You are in a continuous panic attack. Even if this is a real threat, but the brain has decided that it's real, so you still feel the panic, okay? So basically, to understand our physical symptoms, what we feel that is real to us, it's important to understand what happened in our central nervous system, okay? It's nothing wrong with you. It's scientific and it's perfectly normal. So we have an autonomous nervous system, probably you know it very well, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system, okay? You don't need to remember any of that. It's going to be a test or anything. It's just for you to really understand what's going on inside your body, okay? And if anybody wants a question, please just let me know. So basically, our sympathetic system is our stress response. And our parasympathetic system is our peace response, our calm and rest and digest. And it's designed to keep you safe. Okay, it's like your soothing station. Remember what we were talking about, your soothing bubble. You're activating your parasympathetic system. A lot of us can get stuck living in ways that we feel we are more in a sympathetic dominant state most of the times, okay? So basically, if you mainly feel you're confused, you're like inside a cage, you're suffocating, you're in constant fear, you're panicking, you probably are just activating this part of your nervous system too much. So you're physically activating your sympathetic system. But what do we want? We want to activate our parasympathetic system, okay? And one of the direct links to be activating that system is our breath. So we can activate our vagus nerve through the breath. So this is exactly why it's so important to learn how to practice breathing techniques, to control our breathing and to learn how to focus on our breathing, okay? Like in meditation or with yoga. There's some people think that it's like no connection. This is where is the connection, okay? By activating your vagus system nerve, basically you're activating your calm and rest state physically inside your body, okay? If we have time at the end of the session, which I doubt, I can teach you one of the breathing techniques that I normally teach in my one-to-one, but let's see it. Probably you're already thinking, why do I need to know all of this, Pilar? Okay. This is important because it's about recognizing that when you are feeling anxious or in panic, your body is just reacting to try to help you and keep you safe. Your body was designed to do this, okay? And by knowing this means you are not crazy. Your mind is just trying to deal with that threat, real or not. You're not gonna have a heart attack. Your heart was made for this response. And this feeling will not last forever, okay? It will go away soon. Any comments so far on this? No? All clear?
Actually, it's very interesting, Pilar, to know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Good.
Very, very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. I find it actually exciting. I started studying this 100 centuries ago when I did psychology and in biology, and I was like, wow, but then you keep forgetting these things, and it's very interesting to keep reading.
I think it's amazing to know these facts, because it's just a reassurance that exactly what you say, you're not crazy. It's just how it is. And then you see, oh, it's not me. Wait, I need to send the right signals, and then you get back on track. So
exactly, because normally we would normally we would just think, you know, oh my God, I'm the weird one. I'm always in panic. Why do I have to be where I'm not normal? No, it's just your body is trying to keep you safe. Our body were made for this, so it's actually quite reassurance to know that. Okay, so just to finish on this subject, I want to share, and this is kind of exciting because I don't really normally share things on the screen, so I really hope you're going to be able to see it. Let me find, it's just the stress curve page. Let's see if we can share it. Let go. Hang on a second. Okay, I need to start. Okay, I don't think you can see it, more or less. Can you see this? Can you see that? I don't, hold on. Yes?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so this is just very simple. So basically, when we are, well, I'm going to be sending this to you, so you have a couple of them in here. The stress and anxiety, the human faction, basically. And this is interesting to see because it's performance and pressure. But then the second one is, I like it a bit better, and it's basically, again, the performance curve. So if you are in the purple zone or the blue zone, what happened? We become inactive, okay? We don't do anything, we freeze. We don't progress, we get stuck, and we are in an unhappy comfort zone. But we all need to feel a bit of a stress and have that drive and passion that we were talking last week. Remember when we have our bubbles of drivers? Basically, we need that little bit of a stress. And stress doesn't have to be a bad word at all times, okay? Our optimal place to work with ourselves, to grow and to develop and to make things happen in our life is the green zone. Because a moderate sensation of stress motivate us to get going, okay, to do things, to fight for happiness, to own our efforts, to make things happen by ourselves. Do you remember about the lobster when we were saying she was producing a new shell? Probably she was on the green zone, okay, because she felt uncomfortable. She needed to get out of the shell, and then she needed to produce a new one. But she needed a motivation, something, and a stimulus to get out of her shell, and that she needs to feel stress enough to do that. But what happens when the stress increases? It's too much and unbearable. Well, we become fatigued and blocked and overwhelmed and anxious, and eventually what happens is we burn out and we become ineffective, okay? So as you can see on the other one, on the yellow and orange, is basically what is happening is when it's a good sample for say, like, I have to do it all, okay? That type of person that I have to do it all by myself. I have to handle everything. I'm the only one who can do everything. I have to carry on with the to-do list with myself because I'm the only one who can do it. I can't delegate. And what happened? We actually overload ourselves. We become totally ineffective. and even out of passion. So maybe we wanted to do so many things, we are having so many ideas, we're really excited, but we need to ground ourselves and think again of our reality and the risk that we have for destroying all our motivation and effort, okay, by trying to achieve too much in too little time. Okay, let me just, okay. So how enlightening was that for you?
For me, it's very obvious where I am, and it's exactly how it is. So it's very nice to see it, how it works, that it's normal, because I think like, oh, I'm doing this, and then I see exactly what happens when you get overstressed or overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then you see by facts that you need to de-stress and you need to slow down, because it's facts. It's nothing to do with your it's not that you can't do enough or you're not good enough. It's just like the way it is. It's just how the way the brain and the body works. So I'm very happy with that, to see that.
Anybody else feeling attached to this? Okay, so what I want to talk to you now is about coming into the same kind of subject. It's called the triangle of emotions. Okay, it's basically how to understand how to manage your emotions in a better way. And this is part of a self-coaching model that you can use anytime to change your thoughts for better ones. So I need practice and guidance, but when you get it right, it's pure magic. Okay, you can actually change your thoughts to be able to feel in a better way. I'm going to give you a very, very small and short version, only with 3 elements. Normally I use the 5 elements in my one-to-one. But otherwise it's going to take the entire class. I'm just going to give you a touch of it. If you have any more questions, obviously, send me an email and I'll send you the whole model. So what we have said so far in the past sessions is an emotion is just a vibration in your body, okay? And it's caused by a thought. And a thought is just a few words put together. It's all it is, okay? It's not real or unreal. It's just a few thoughts, a few words, put it together. But that words together creates an image in our minds, okay? So the image, the thought creates a vibration in our body. And that vibration in our body causes an action. Okay, so we have the 3 pieces of the triangle. We have the thought, we have the emotion, and we have the action. Is that clear? More or less? Okay. So let's say I have a thought, okay? I'm a salesperson, and I say, okay, I need to sell my product. I'm thinking I need to sell my product. I need to make money. I need to sell my product. But that is giving me already a negative emotion in my body, okay? I feel insecure and nervous about the world sales. Just by the thought that I need to sell, it makes me feel very insecure, okay? So that is my thought and my negative emotion. And what is my response, my action? Well, my action can be probably, I do nothing. I'm so insecure, I'm so blocked that I do nothing. And I stop thinking about it, and I stop even trying, and I decide even to stop my project. So basically, at the end of the day, the result is I do nothing, I don't sell my products. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So that emotion, obviously, is not helpful. So what we would like to do here is to be able to change our emotion about sales, okay? Because this is what is giving me the negative emotion. We don't want to feel nervous or insecure or terrified or even sad or depressed, okay? We want to feel happy and excited and hopeful that I'm going to be selling my product. So how can we achieve that? So unfortunately, our emotions cannot be just turned on and off. They're not robots. Although we can work on influence our emotions in order to make them useful to us, okay? So how do we do that? we can do it in two ways. We can change our thoughts and we can change our action. Okay, for example, let's talk about, as we say, insecurity. At this point in your life, you're low self-esteem, you're insecure with yourself. You can think something like, okay, I'm useless. I'm a bad mom, and I'm a bad professional, or I'm a bad girlfriend, okay? And this is basically, you know this, your inner critic nagging in your head and not allowing you to escape. But you keep saying that, I'm useless, I'm a bad mom, I'm a bad professional. So this is your thought. Let's look into your action. So maybe what is causing this is you're not talking into meetings, you're afraid of failing, you don't participate at work, you are start to procrastinate, you're turning your projects late because you're insecure and you're not doing them. You don't apply for promotions, you don't do more advanced projects in fear of failing and looking stupid in front of people. Or if you feel like you're a bad mom, maybe you stop going to your kids' activities because you don't want to be compared with the other super moms around you. Maybe you feel insecure as a parent in front of the other parents, and you're just afraid they're judging you. So you just disappear from the parenting life, okay? You feel you're not enough, maybe. Or if you feel that if you're afraid that your boyfriend or your girlfriend are going to leave you, maybe because you feel insecure with yourself as well. Okay, oh my God, it's gonna leave me. So that's the whole thought, the whole vibration that is giving you, I'm not enough. So which emotions do we have here? All these thoughts are making us feel down and depressed and insecure. Okay, maybe tearful, maybe inactive. So when you start feeling that vibration that is caused by the thought that I'm useless, I'm a bad mom, or I'm a bad professional, basically, I don't have the guts, I'm just too insignificant, I'm not attractive, etc., etc. It just totally blocks you from anything else. So what we could do is to make small changes in our life in order to start influencing the way that we feel right now, to make it useful, okay? If I'm feeling that negativity in my body because I'm telling myself I'm not good enough at my job, I'm just not good enough, and that is blocking me, I need to make small changes. So it takes work and thinking and planning, for sure. This is not, magic, but with repetition, we kind of start consciously changing your actions and or your thoughts, whatever comes easier for you, in small changes, so you can influence your emotions and feel better. Once you feel better, you have better thoughts and you have better actions. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So this is pretty much the essence of the self-coaching model. So let's give it a try. Let's go back again into the first sample, right? I'm a bad professional and I'm a bad parent. Let's look into my actions. I'm always late. I avoid meeting. I'm always late. I avoid meeting with other parents. So what can I do to create a better action? An action that is going to help me in my life. So you need to consciously plan a few small things that can help you with that success in your life. Okay, for example, if I'm really bad, if I'm acting really bad at work, I can consciously make a plan of a few things that I can do really quickly to start changing that. So what can I do? Okay, this week I'm going to turn my project on time. I'm not going to procrastinate. I'm going to turn it on time, even if it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect anyway, but at least it's going to be on time. So that is going to be my commitment for this week. Or maybe you can ask for a mentor. You know what? I feel insecure. I think for a couple of weeks, if you can assign me a mentor to give me a hand with a few things, it will be great. And this is actually very empowering, okay? You already raise your hand and you're asking for help. So you're already doing a couple of things that are changing that, okay? You're doing just a little couple of things. And maybe to do with parents, you promise yourself that on the next opportunity, you're going to say hi and chat with other parents. Okay. Every time, next opportunity they invite you to a parental event, you're going to go and you're just going to say hi to a couple of parents. And maybe you find out that all the parents experience the same challenges. Okay. They all feel the same way. So all these small actions, and we're talking actions in here, will make you feel better emotions right away. Okay. Because you're going to feel hope and pride. You're just consciously taking a very small action out of your comfort zone. And that will make you feel in a much better way right away. Okay. You're already changing those vibrations inside your body. So just by thinking that I'm going to finish my assignment this week, even if it's wrong, I don't care. That is already giving me a good feeling. I'm not procrastinating. Is that making sense to people? Yeah. Okay. So this is into actions. Okay. A small little action that you consciously plan to start feeling better. And when we go into our thoughts, that my thought that I'm useless on everything, you need, and let's go back again into self-narrative, you need to consciously change your narrative with compassion and gratitude or factual language. Okay, I already learned how to do this. So instead of saying, I'm a disaster, I'm a failure, I can actually say to myself, okay, you know what? Hang on a second. I don't feel very secure yet about work, okay? Maybe even approaching other parents, but I'm working on it. I'm going to do little things, I'm getting there. I'm going to put a plan together that is going to make me grow. And I want to grow. I want to be much better. And I'm already thinking a lot of things and I'm already doing things. So just by talking to yourself in a compassionate way, like you're actually trying and you see that, it's going to make you feel right away hopeful and excited, okay? Immediately by just changing your narrative and the image in your mind, which is not a loser, which is someone who's trying, you will feel hopeful and pride that you're making the effort. You're out of your comfort zone, moving towards your goals, and that will give you pride right away. So all these processes is very auto-coaching way, okay? I mean, you can work with a coach or a therapist that will guide you and take you to that path. But once you know how to use the model, you will be able to use it all your life. And it's actually magical. Just by changing little things consciously on your narrative and on your little action to change something, the vibration in your body will feel much better. Is that clear? Any questions on this one? Any feedback? Anything to clarify? You're very quiet today, Teresa. No, I encourage you, Krista.
Yes, I just realized something with regards to what I shared with you earlier, that actually now I see what's the difference, and how should I put this? When I was trying to rewrite my self-narrative, I was always kind of thinking in the past, and that's the clue, like the past present. That's my big discovery right now, is that whenever I wrote something bad or from the eyes of my inner critic, then I thought that correcting it with compassion or with gratitude or factual language, that's when I felt like I'm putting excuses, because I was like, you're doing that, but you're doing this because this is understandable, because blah, 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 blah. And actually now I hear you, and compassion is not explaining why it is like this, but being in the present and saying, I'm getting there, like looking forward to the future and in the present. So that's my big difference.
Good. You have an aha moment. That's good. Love it. Anybody else? Okay. So then we're going to jump into core and limiting beliefs. Okay. So actually it's a great follow on our inner critic work from last week. So what are limiting and core beliefs, which is different things? They're very similar, but they're not the same thing. So limiting belief is an idea that is limiting the way you see a situation or the way you see a person or anything, really. The way that you see anything is limiting. And it's also limit how will you respond to that idea or person or situation, okay? And a core belief is a very strong view about yourself and who you are, or about other people, or about the world. And sometimes we have a very healthy and helpful core beliefs, like you might think people generally are kind, okay? You know, population is kind to the ones in need, and you live by that mantra happily. But other times you might have a core belief that is not helping you, okay? And we need to identify them to understand where they're coming from and how to move on from them. For example, you can think life is unfair, okay? And someone who lives by that mantra is generally quite a negative person and is suffering. It's a person who suffers. Life is unfair, you know, who likes to go around thinking like that. So that unfairness, that word and that thought is actually creating a negative vibration in your body right away, okay? So our core beliefs are made from our own memories of events in our life, things that we have lived, or maybe things that we saw, or we were influenced by, like our inner critic thoughts, okay? Some negative episodes we have in our life. So what we do is we put them all together and we treat it like the evidence that we need to justify that our belief is true. Does that make sense? I'll give you a few samples. So the most popular ones, the negative core and limiting beliefs, very popular that a lot of people share. They could be, I'm unlovable, I'm not worthy, I'm a failure, I'm a bad person, people cannot be trusted, all kids are cruel, the world is scary and dangerous, everything is my fault, I can't do anything right, I'm a mess. A popular one, if I open up to people, they will hurt me. I'm less than everybody around me, or I'm not enough. Okay, these are like the very popular limiting beliefs that we have. So if any of these resonate with you, if you have one of those core beliefs, let's try to understand how they started, because they're not healthy and they're not realistic and they're obviously damaging you, okay? Because it's creating this negative vibration in your heart and that is causing you a bad action. It's all related, your thought, your vibration, your action, okay? So imagine, you need to imagine now a timeline in front of you, okay? A line where you can actually spot, see, and mark a specific moments in your life that were dramatic somehow, okay, consciously or unconsciously. Like, for example, I have my line in here and say, okay, your mom forgot to pick you up from school. One day, she was terribly late. Another time you were bullied in primary school, or your family went on holidays together and you were left behind, punished, or you were denied of doing something that your siblings were allowed to do, or maybe a teacher made you feel ashamed, or that time in here you mark that you have an abusive relation in your teens, or that you didn't pass a very important test. And with all these events on your timeline, all these marking events, you have created a pack, a box, that is basically your evidence box of that core belief. And that pack full of past events are the evidence to support that belief for the rest of your life. Like, I'm not enough, okay? I have that belief, I'm not enough. So I have an evidence pack, like, yeah, I'm not enough because, you know, like I have 5 boyfriends and 5 of them were a disaster. And then I tried to get that job and I didn't get it. And then I was, I tried to go into that university and I didn't get it. So I have my pack to show me, to demonstrate myself that I'm actually not enough. Okay, I made that pact nicely. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so the problem with this pact is actually we're not including all the amazing moments that we have lived at the same time. Okay, like your supportive family, grandma, your best friend from primary school that is still your best friend, a beautiful relationship that you have with an ex, the time that you were accepted into a course or university, or when you pass a super important exam, or when you bake the most amazing cake, or you throw out the most amazing party. Okay, so unfortunately your evidence pack does not include any of these amazing moments full of evidence of your value and beautiful successes in your life. Okay, so we already spoke many times. Our brain, we were saying that our brain trying to keep us safe and trying to save as many calories as possible from thinking too much, and again, the same thing. So he likes to take the shortest and safest road to go to somewhere, which is normally the unconscious one. Okay, so it would not be safe for us to question every single thought that we had. So imagine that we have maybe 80,000 thoughts a day. Imagine if we need to rethink and challenge every single one of them. I mean, there will never be the end of the day, basically. Our world would be very, very unstable. So when we tend to believe something, we tend not to question that again. And even if it's something that is hurting us, and we know is hurting us, we do not challenge our thoughts and belief often enough. So remember when we did with our inner critic, that we were actually challenging that thought, that inner critic saying you are not enough, or you are too fat, you will never be able to have your own company, and we need to grab that thought. Basically, the same thing that we need to do here with our negative core beliefs. We need to identify the thought that is causing this bad emotion in your body and say, okay, I got it. I grab you. I see you. And this is unhealthy to me. This is not giving me the whole picture of my life. And this is something I need to question again and find proof that is not true. Okay, like the last time that we did a self-hack, and we were saying, I see you, I know you're making an effort. So basically what we need to do is to dig more into these core beliefs. Be compassionate. Work on your great evidence to find those great feelings, okay? And it's not easy, and it's not gonna work the first time for sure. It's a conscious exercise, and even could be like a meditation exercise that you need to do in able to feel better. I'm positive, I'm hopeful again, okay? Which is what we want. So we need to challenge that negative memory and find proof that is a not correct memory. That is not the whole picture. Does that make sense? Yeah? Any comments? Hello? I see you writing frantically. I'm going to be sending you a lot of information anyway, so you don't need to write absolutely everything, but just comment anything you would like, okay? Right, so we're going to go now, I think, into the last part, which is going to be the unhelpful thinking styles, okay? And I'm going to give you very quickly the most popular unhelpful thinking styles that we normally do, for you to recognize them and be alert, okay? So you can actually go back into your core beliefs through to the way that you're actually thinking, right? So we can identify anxiety, inner critic, limiting beliefs, etc. But I will send you a document with a small summary of these 7 types, okay, by email. This is just a touch for you to know and name what you might be going through right now, because sometimes you're doing something, but you don't know that actually has got a name. So we have the first type of a style, which I used to do quite a lot in the past, which is catastrophizing. That rings a bell. is blowing things out of proportion. Okay, this is something that anxiety really loves to do. So every time we get that threat response in our body, it's our brain job to think that all the awful worst case scenarios in order to keep us safe. Okay, does that happen to you? Happen to me all the time. I tend to catastrophize. So what we had to do, we had to be mindful. We had to be in the present to challenge that thought and the real possibilities that will happen. Okay, normally it's a way, great way to start reducing the stress level. Just be mindful and challenge the reality. Imagine you have panic to fly. Okay, so you can ask the person next to you. Okay, we're gonna have an accident. I'm not gonna go and fly because I'm gonna have an accident. We're gonna all die. What would you say to that person? First of all, you can actually say, okay, let's be factual here. What is the real percentage that is happening today? Okay, maybe 0.001. Okay. You know, that already is calming you down quite a bit. Okay. And what is the percentage that this airline in particular is going to have an air accident? Maybe 0.002. So basically, by bringing down your thought with with facts, you can start lowering the stress level and be very mindful. Does that make sense? Okay. Second one, something that we all think that we can do, which is mind reading. Okay. Mind reading is assuming that you know what someone else is thinking. And this is something that our inner critic and our social anxiety loves to do. We don't know what other people are thinking, honestly. We don't. You can keep guessing, but you don't know. And you have no proof of what other people is thinking this minute, okay? So we stop and say, okay, what I'm thinking now? I'm thinking that she thinks that I'm stupid. And then you can say, okay, I don't know that. This is mind reading. I don't really know what that person is thinking about me, so I can actually stop doing it because this is not helping me. See the way you can actually stop those thoughts just by recognizing your thinking patterns. The third one, future predicting. This is the what if. So we keep making predictions about what's going to happen. Okay, like if we are a witch. Anxiety, love, what if? And every time that something feels a bit of a challenge, it's like, oh yeah, but what if? But what if this happened? Or what if that happened? Okay? Actually, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. It's a bloody future. We don't know. We don't have a ball that is going to say it. So what we need to do is to learn how to tolerate and live with some uncertainty in our life, okay? We need to tolerate uncertainty and we need to tolerate not being in control all the time. It's okay to not know, okay? The fourth one is filtering. And filtering is something that inner critic loves as well, because what she does is she looks only onto the negative things of whatever happens and never in the positive ones, okay? So that person that is just filter and only see the negativity. The fifth one is something that I'm pretty sure that you all do, which is the shooting. I should do this. Oh my God, I should do that. I should do that thing, which is basically being insanely harsh and demanding on yourself, okay? I should be working. Oh my God, I should be working. I should be sleeping by now. I should be on the gym. Look at that time. I should be on the gym. I should be cleaning. I'm not sitting here in my sofa just watching Netflix. So I should. Clearly it's not helpful, because by saying that, you're already creating really bad vibrations in your body, okay? So what about if you change I should for I could, or I want to? I want to go to the gym instead of I should go to the gym. So just by changing I want to, it's already giving you a much better vibration inside your body. Give it a try and see how inside your body is already changing. You shouldn't do anything. Did you want to do it? But you can do it, okay? But you don't have to. The sixth one is white or black thinking. So you only see the streams. everything is so bad or so good. It's all or nothing. But many times we need flexibility in our life, okay? We need the gray area. And being flexible is a sign of growth and intelligence. We already said that a long time ago, a couple of sessions ago. And the last one, very popular as well, is labeling. So calling yourself horrible names. I'm stupid. I'm clumsy. I'm a clumsy person. I'm a late person. I'm a messy person. I'm chaotic. I'm emotionally cold person. I'm a cynic. Do you know? We are so used to call ourselves with horrible names that we create that image of ourselves in our mind that is very negative and it's not accurate. Okay? It's just not accurate. And you're already giving yourself a bad feeling about your own self. So stop labeling. Okay? I used to say I'm clumsy all my life. I'm not saying I'm clumsy anymore because actually I'm not that clumsy. So this is one of the most popular and helpful thinking style. Okay? And what do we do with this information? So basically this information is again for you to be aware of the type of thoughts that might be hurting you, to label them and to catch them consciously. So we just say, okay, I'm assuming I can read people's minds, right? This is not helping me, but I'm consciously stopping doing it. I have no idea what that person is thinking. So I'm consciously going to stop worrying about it. Like, I don't know what is she thinking. So you know what? Most of the time, people don't give a damn about you. They don't think about you. They just think about themselves. So don't worry about that. But if you really want to challenge that thought, imagine you want to say to your boss, and my boss thinks I'm stupid. He really thinks I'm stupid. You know what? Be brave and ask him. Obviously, don't say, do you think I'm stupid? But something like, okay, I'm sensing something in here. Maybe, what do you think about my work? What do you think that are my areas to growth? Okay, so go and ask that person instead of keep thinking all the time, my boss think I'm stupid, because you're mind reading. How does it feel? Rings the bell? Anybody think that is using this quite a bit?
Yes, I think it's also another one to keep on recognizing and teaching your brain, like, okay, this is not true, and it's recognizable, and there we go again. It's definitely helping as well to know how to change the way of thinking, and and not be so harsh on yourself.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Okay, it's just unconsciously we are so programmed to do all this harsh to ourselves all the time. And then when you start realizing all these things, so many of them, it's like, oh my God, you know, why did I teach this at school actually? Because I would have stopped doing it a long time ago. Okay, so if no one wants to share any aha moments anymore.
Yeah, I would like to say that I feel so less self-confident, and then I feel so confident to think what other people are thinking about me when I don't know anything about me. So this amazes me, because how can it's what I read in the mind of the people. I don't know why, but I just do this, but I'm not able to think about myself and about me. So this is what I get from this hour. Maybe this is what I will think about, because overthinking and imagining what other people is thinking about me, when, as you say, nobody's caring about you and they don't think about you, but it's like, oh, I think I'm awful. People are looking at me because I'm dressed awfully and I'm fat or whatever, and they're not thinking this. They're not thinking of me at all. But it's something that it comes to my mind so quickly, and it's really amazing how on the other side of the wall, it's me not capable of thinking about me and knowing what other people are thinking about me.
Exactly. So as you can see, basically every time that you think that someone is thinking something horrible about you, you're mind reading, you are hurting yourself. So you are purposely and consciously hurting yourself. So just stop, ground, as we always say, put the ground on the feet, the feet on the ground, and just say, what am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking that Zelda thinks that I'm fat. Is that helping me? No, actually, I'm bloody mind reading. I don't know what she's thinking. So this is.
I wasn't thinking that.
I just used your name. It was in front of it. But that is not helping me, and it's giving me a bad vibration in my body, and I don't need a bad vibration in my body to move on and to be motivated and to carry on with my life. I don't need that negative vibration in my body. I need the nice one. So I just carry on and think something else. Okay. Right. So we only have like a few minutes left, but if you're happy to carry on for a bit longer, I have a final exercise for you to do with pen and paper. But this time I'm going to try to use, let's see if I can make it, all these technicalities. A whiteboard. Let's see if you see it. Can you see it there? Do you see a whiteboard? Yeah. Okay, I don't know what. There you go. Okay. So what you're going to do first is you're going to write a circle in the middle. Oh my God, that's so horrible. There you go. Okay. And we're going to write in columns. I'm going to do it at the same time than you. So in here, we're going to write, let's see, hang on. Okay, we're going to write self-care. And we're going to write family. We're going to write friends. We're going to write body nourishment. And we're going to write spirituality. Okay. And on the other side, we're going to write, those things are supposed to be healthy, soothing part of your life. Okay. So if you don't recognize any of those words, if you prefer to write something else for your soothe bubble, you can put anything else. Okay. Or you just can add more if you want to. And then on the other side, and here, come on. Okay, and here we're going to write social media. Gonna write booze or alcohol. I'm gonna write food. We're gonna write work. And we're gonna write isolation, okay? Right. So now what we're gonna do is gonna draw a connecting line from the circle in the middle to each one of the words, okay? Thinking how important all these words are for you, okay? As your values. So let's say, like, trying to be a bit vulnerable in here. So self-care, so self-care for me is very important, okay? Family is very important. Friends are very important, but probably not as much as family. So I put not that long. Body nourishment feels important as well. And spirituality feels very important as well, okay? So you just put it like that. Social media is not important at all to me. Booze is mildly important. I like it. Food is mildly important. Work is mildly important. And isolation sorry. Isolation is not important at all. Okay? Right. So once you have that done, what we're going to do is to take a second line, parallel if you want to, or mark on top of it, whatever you prefer, and think about if all these words, how much of your time do you spend in these activities in your life right now, like in a weekly basis? Okay, so let's say self-care, very little. Family, I mean, being very vulnerable in here, I spend almost nothing. Friends, very little. Body nourishment, maybe a bit more. Spirituality, a bit more. Okay. Social media, I spend quite a bit for whatever the reason. Booze, sometimes in the weekends. Food, like I'm okay with it. At work, I'm spending far too many hours, but this is my life right now. And isolation, probably as well. Like I'm spending a lot of time on my own doing all those activities. That makes sense? Okay. So once you're done, be very, very honest, because you don't need to share it, okay? You can comment later, but you don't need to share it. So imagine this is an octopus, okay? And suddenly this octopus is at the bottom of the sea. And it becomes super stormy, very strong currents. And we need to figure out where this octopus is going to be clinging to, okay? Where it's going to be grabbing. Where his tentacles are going to be grabbing. So imagine all these words are the rocks underneath the sea, okay? In the sea. The things in life that your octopus are going to be grabbing when it comes very difficult times. So the first line that you wrote, the most important things for you are your rocks in life, okay? So to me, were family and friends and spirituality, okay? And self-care. I don't know about yours, but mine were there. But if you look into my second, I didn't put in different colors. I should have put it in different colors. But if you look into my second lines, actually, when the times get difficult for me, what I go to is on my second line, which is probably social media, work, and isolation. Okay? So basically, the second line, the one that you spend the most time right now, every week, is where you go to when the time gets really tough. Does that make sense? Let me just stop sharing. So it's just for you to realize that we are connected. We think that we are connected to things that we are not used in our lives. So we know what is important for us, but then we are not connected to them, okay? I'm not putting enough time in my family. I'm not putting enough time in my self-care and in my friends right now. So when a challenge arrives in my life, instead of leaning into my healthy things, or what I consider my healthy things for me, what I consider important, I'm just going to go and lean on unhealthy ones, like isolation and work in excess. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Is that happening to you? Ciao, Krista. Have you realized anything with this? Are you leaning on things that they are not healthy instead of on the healthy ones?
Can I give you a good news? Yeah? Well, I'm shocked because long strings were on family, friends, and my hobby, which, it's cutting and doing decoupage, and food and alcohol. Of course, I'm Italian, and both lines are long. all
Okay.
along. So I grab to what I think it's important. So
That is great.
this is a really good news.
Exactly. That is great to realize that. I'm pretty sure you have a good vibration right now in your body.
Yeah, I thought I was a disaster, but writing
Ah,
down things,
labeling yourself, labeling yourself.
yeah, you know, I do that. I'm a master in that. But looking at things, it's not that true. So, wow.
Okay.
Well, alcohol is still a really good point in my life, but I have to work on that.
Or maybe not. Maybe it's not the right time. So basically, something about this exercise and doing it many times when you feel calm, when you are at your best situation, okay, when you are calm, when you're not in a stress, when you're not in anxiety, doing this exercise and have a mental list of what is giving you a strength in your life is actually very good. For when you are on a stress and anxiety, when you're actually suffering for real, you are not on your best judgment to actually find out what are your stronger connections, okay? What are your rocks? So you tend to go into the wrong rocks, like work and isolation for me, okay? It's the easier way for me to actually pass my my shit time. When I know that if I was leaning into my friends, I will find lots more security and good feelings and sorrow right away than leaning into the wrong things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope that works for you and how you can actually use it in the future. Okay, so I think we're gonna do we're gonna do like breathing techniques, but it's gonna get very late because it's already 1 hour and 10 minutes. So I don't want to take any more time. But I'm gonna be sending to you a few breathing techniques in case it's gonna be helpful for you. Okay. The homework for this week, it will be ideal if you keep a thought log. I'm gonna be sending you some document, okay? But if you keep a thought log of your inner critic, okay? Because now you have so many more tools. You know your thinking patterns, you know the emotions, you need the triangle. So you have lots more things on how to identify that inner critic talking to you. So I would love for you to identify that negative vibration in your body. And once that negative vibration comes into your body, think, okay, what am I thinking? And then write that down. You can do it on the log that I'm going to be sending you. You can do it on your phone. But basically, it's for you to see by the end of the week the pattern. If you've been thinking about the same all the time, or if you have been able to change that thought pattern because you're working on it. All right. The more you see your development, the better you get in everything you do because you get motivated for it. I will send you the replay anyway. I'm going to be sending you the stress curve document. I will be sending you the unhelpful thinking style document. I'm going to be sending you something very interesting about fighting negative core beliefs document and the anxiety log document. Okay, so I'm going to be sending you a lot of stuff. As always, you can keep it, you can read it later, you can read it little by little, no problem. Okay, and if anybody wants anything else, if they want like the model, the changing thoughts and vibration model, I can send it to you as well, but just ask me individually for it. Okay, anything else? Anybody wants to share anything else before we go? No? Anybody happy? Cool. Okay, well then, super nice to be here. I really enjoyed this class as usual, but I really, really like this one, and I really wish you have an amazing week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye then.
Bye.